Now, let's talk about how you can encourage and improve your child's communication skills. Let me start by saying there are some limits to what you can do. Just as you can't cause a child's language impairment, you also can't make a child a language superstar. That said, there's an enormous amount that parents and caregivers and communication partners can do to improve a child's language and communication skills and, incidentally, improve their chances of academic success. The biggest and best thing you can do is really talk with your child. Don't just talk to your child, really talk with her. Not just put your shoes on, eat your food, do this, do that. Not the everyday management we do, but really looking at your child and being attentive and being engaged and having a real conversation. That is an enormous gift that will also really help you gauge what your child's communication skills are like. The more you talk to your child, even before your child can talk, it's never too early, the better your child's language skills will be. The more kinds of words a child hears, the better his or her vocabulary will be. The more a child is read to using a dialogue, this is called dialogic reading, the more beneficial reading will be to your child's language development. With dialogic reading, reading isn't just sit down and be quiet and listen to this, but instead is much more interactive. This is a variation on what we just talked about how to talk with your child. You also want to read with your child, not just to her. To do that, you sit down and point things out to your child. Ask and answer questions and talk about the book beyond the words on the page. That type of reading is an enormous benefit to your child's language. Narrating your everyday life is another great way to help your child's language development. Instead of just popping your baby into the bath and cleaning her up, try singing songs or talking to her. Now we're putting the shampoo in. It's in your hair. Wow, your hair has grown. It sure is curly. That sort of narration can do wonders for a baby. Playing games with a baby and narrating those games while you are playing is yet another fun and beneficial way to build language and make communication feel fun and satisfying for your child. All of these things are an enormous benefit to your child's language skills. Again, it won't change a child from being language impaired to unimpaired, but it could make the difference between a child being a functional communicator or not. And it definitely will put them in a better place to be successful in school. The more words they know, the more they can understand. As a speech-language pathologist, it is always exciting to talk about ways you can enhance and enrich your child's development. If you want to learn more, take a look at the video on this webpage called Facilitating Language Development. The next topic we're going to talk about is bilingualism. This topic is so big, the Talking Matters webpage also has an entire module about it. We're going to cover some main points here too. Bilingualism is common in most of the world. That means it isn't something that is beyond the capabilities of most human beings, especially children. But bilingualism is most effective when it is real and functional. So in other words, if you want your child to speak French and just give her some videos and a class once a week, and she never speaks French outside of those sessions, the odds that she'll really learn French are low. One thing we know is that the best way for a child to become bilingual is to have good quality input in whatever languages he or she is trying to learn and an opportunity to use those languages. Being bilingual does not slow down a child's language development. Just as there is no difference between boys and girls in terms of when we expect them to learn first words, there are no different norms worldwide for when we expect bilingual children to reach language milestones. Bilingualism is unique. There are no two families or children who are bilingual in exactly the same way. If you want a child to be bilingual, they need to be exposed to both languages. If you have a child who hears Spanish at home and then is learning English at school, that child needs to keep hearing Spanish to develop and maintain her Spanish. That will not hurt her English as long as she continues to hear English as well. Children will not be confused by hearing two languages. There's evidence that even babies can separate out information from two languages and know what is coming from one language and what's coming from another. There are definitely benefits to being bilingual. There's social benefits, being able to talk to twice as many people, being able to communicate with family members, having more job opportunities. However, research is showing that there are also benefits to thinking skills from being bilingual. In terms of exactly how children become bilingual, we still have a lot to learn. However, the evidence is clear that being bilingual is not something that should be at all harmful for children, as long as a child is getting good input in both languages. There is so much to cover within this topic, so if the FAQ section doesn't answer all your questions, please see the special section on bilingualism on this webpage. This time has gone by so quickly. I hope that you feel you have some basic ideas about language development and are looking forward to finding out more. It really is a magical process. Please remember that if you ever have more questions about language development or your child's language development in particular, feel free to use the Talking Matters talk line.